Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Matthew, the 16th chapter. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting, desired him that he would shew them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. Lowering, when you go into that, it goes into like cloudy. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? So you're able to look in the sky and tell, is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? But you can't tell the times that you're living in. All right, as the Yahweh Shai being on the scene at that time, he was fulfilling really a lot of prophecies and things that were foretold to happen, right? But this was going over their heads, so they weren't able to actually discern the times that they were in. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. All right, which when you go back to the time of Jonah, just as he went, the Lord sent him to go and prophesy to Nineveh. He didn't go there to perform miracles, right? He didn't show them any special signs. All he did was speak unto them, right, and prophesy. And, that was enough for them to repent for a period of time. And likewise, the Lord is saying here, he's not going to show them any divine, extra sign, but what he was sent to do, which was to teach and to heal and do the things that he was doing there. And if that wasn't enough for them to believe, then, hey, it just wasn't for them. And he left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Yahushua said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, Is it because we have taken no bread? Because he mentioned leaven. Which when Yahushua perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do ye not yet understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the of the 5,000 and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves or of the 4,000 and how many baskets you took up? Meaning, if bread was a problem, did you forget how, with the few that we had, I fed 5,000, right? And on another occasion, 4,000, and we still had some left. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. That's what he was warning them about, likening their doctrine of hypocrisy onto leaven. When Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremias, or one of the prophets. He saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the anointed, the Son of the living God. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. See, because this is something that even a lot of Israelites weren't able to receive, right? But as Yahushua said, this was something that was revealed through the Spirit to him, right? The Most High revealed it to him. That's why he said, Blessed are you for that. And I say unto thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So, and as you'll notice, the Lord really appointed Peter, right, as the head of the church, the foundation of it, obviously first and foremost being Yahushua himself. But pretty much nothing would be able to prevail against them. Okay. It says here, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. And that was basically dominion, right? Power to be able to, as it says, I'll read this in the NLT as well, but it basically to be able to request or put things into motion, right, to happen on the earth. NLT says, and I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatsoever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatsoever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. See, so the Lord would have it, because everything really is decided in the spirit world before it manifests on the earth, right? But whatever the Lord is saying, I've given you power, that whatever you permit or you forbid, it will be so. And obviously these things will be done through the Spirit, of course. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was the anointed. From that time forth began Yahushua to shew unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. So from that time going forward, he started to make it known to them, and he would tell them, and for a period of time it would go over their head. They wouldn't really understand what he was talking about because they didn't expect that to happen to him, right? They expected, oh, he's about to, set up the kingdom and everything. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. So Peter, didn't from that standpoint, he didn't understand that this is something that had to happen. This is more like, to him, it almost sounded as, oh, with the way things are going and how he's preaching and how much of a threat he is, they're going to end up killing him. And so he was saying, no, that's never going to happen. Like, don't even talk like that. But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. Now, he wasn't saying that Peter was being, the devil himself, but Peter was being adverse to what needed to happen for prophecy's sake. And this was the very reason why Yahushua was sent. That was his mission. That was his whole goal, being sent on the earth. And that's why he said that. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. See, you're looking at it from the perspective of man, right? And that's where you're speaking from, but not from the will of the Lord. Because the will of the Lord is that I should have to go through these things. And we must suffer it to be so. So you cannot be adverse to that, or else you would be going or trying to come against the will of the Lord. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Right. And as the subheading says, discipleship is costly. Right. So if you're going to be a disciple of the Lord, you have to carry your burdens. You have to be disciplined. Right. And then you have to follow him and endure hardness as a good soldier. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Reading this in the NLT, it says, if you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And that was a part of the cost of following Yahushua. And that's why he also mentioned when Peter asked, we have forsaken all and followed you, what shall we get? He mentioned, right, if you're going to get everything. If you follow me into regeneration, you're going to get everything you've lost 100-fold and then some. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Right. You can be the richest person in the world. You can accumulate everything. But if you lose your own soul, or if you end up, being taken out like the rich man in that parable who gathered into his barn, but then the Lord said, this night I'm going to require your soul. Then what? What have you gained? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. So there are some that are going to gain salvation for doing the right works, and there are some that are going to gain destruction for doing the wrong works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now, what the Lord meant with this is that not that them in that generation, because they all died. They all did taste of death. What he meant was that that generation where Yahushua was on the earth with would be the same generation in the last days in this time. All right, reincarnation is real through the scriptures. So those that were following him back then would come back on the earth again in this time and follow him again, or follow his word in this time. And of those, okay, not all would die. Some would be martyred, but some would they would live throughout in the end days and not die until they see Yahushua actually return. And that brings us to the end of the book of Matthew, the 16th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.